All right, here we go. From the outside, you see a man who seems to have it all, right? Got the job, the house, the family. He's got all the stuff, right? But what you can't see is the silent, crushing weight of a secret that most men carry, whether they realize it or not. It's the great lie the enemy wants all of us, wants every man to believe, that somehow, no matter what you do, it's never going to be enough. It will never be enough because you are not enough. And most men will spend their entire lives looking for validation in the wrong places from the wrong people for the wrong things. This is the slow internal crisis that can actually unfold behind a mask of success and a sort of calm competence. It's the story of the high-functioning, high-achieving man who doesn't fall apart publicly, but is on a drift constantly internally, and he has no idea why. It's a silent struggle that millions of men are facing, and they're facing it completely alone. Hello, my name is Mark Mascola. Welcome to Masculine to the Core and the Man in the Arena podcast. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. Let's get right into today's session. For many men, validating their own self-worth isn't something that they understand. Their self-worth is based on their public self-image. The man whose picture is on their social media profile, think about that. Their self-worth is based on their self-image. The man who is the picture on their social media profile, this validation is something that they feel they have to earn through performance every single day. Their entire identity gets tangled up with what they do for a living. And any slip up can feel like a total derailment because so many people rely on that man. Any misstep, it feeds an inner voice that says, brother, you're just not good enough. And what does a man do? To protect himself, he builds a mask of control, forcing him to struggle in silence. He can't tell anybody about it. He feels a separation but has no idea what he's even separated from. What's his answer? I'll just do more, faster. Just watch me. But let me tell you what the silent breakdown really looks like. A man's mental crisis, this psychological crisis that we can have, it rarely comes across as simple sadness. More often it's disguised as anger, a short temper, recklessness. It can even show up as the man who pulls away from his friends and his family, especially his family, using long hours at work as an excuse to run from the emotional numbness he feels inside. The long grinds at work that society applauds. We wear it like a badge of honor. This is the reality of high-functioning depression, where external success can't hide an internal emptiness. Remove the career and you remove the identity of the man. Think about that. The career goes away, the identity of the man goes with it. The body and mind keep the score, with the crisis showing up physically as a man allows his desire for success to control all of his waking and most of his sleeping hours. How do I know? Let me put both hands in the air. I have been that man. So what's this secret engine? What is this breakdown? What it causes it? Underneath it all is one of the most corrosive emotions. It's the word pride. It's one of the 7 deadlies. And there's a huge difference between pride and false pride. Pride says, I did something that didn't turn out right, but I'm going to hold my head high and fix it. That's pride. There's nothing wrong with that. There are prideful men. I'm one of them. I hope you are too. Men need to understand that God did not put us on this earth to never make mistakes and always make the right decision. But he did put us on this earth to take personal responsibility for making the things that turned out wrong, make them right. But what does false pride do? False pride brings with it shame that whispers, I have got to keep others from seeing that I am something bad. I am labeled as my mistake. It's not what I did, it's who I am. It's a deep-seated belief that you are fundamentally flawed for making a bad decision. This shame is often built over years of our insatiable quest for validation. And what does that do? It fuels the vicious cycle of isolation. When men feel broken and believe they can't talk about it, what do? They look for ways to escape. This is where private struggles can spiral out of control. For many men, aloneness and isolation become a way to self-medicate, a tool to silence that inner critic. And most men can feel isolated in a room full of people. What often starts small can escalate into a destructive cycle, offering a moment of relief, but making the underlying crisis even worse and deepening that sense of personal failure. Think about that. It gets worse when you don't talk about it. Now listen, if any of this is hitting home for you, just know this. You, my brother, are not the only one fighting this private battle. We all do. I can talk about it because I lived it 27 years ago. Addiction, divorce, bankruptcy. I was that guy, but I discovered something as a result of my disaster that changed the course of my life forever. And I made a commitment, actually a promise to God, that I would share it with as many men as I could. Now let me tell you, there is an enemy at work, and his primary tool, now listen, I want you to understand this. There is an enemy at work called the devil, and his primary tool is a war tactic as old as time itself. It's called divide and conquer. He knows the more he can get you to isolate, the more desperate you will become. The more desperate you become, the more mistakes you will make. You will let your guard down, and the more desperate you will become, and the downward spiral will continue. More mistakes, more desperate, more mistakes, more desperate. Externally, you may do a good job of hiding it. I know I did for years, but the price you will pay internally is more than you can fathom. So what can you do? I'm going to give you 3 things that you can do, and you can begin doing them immediately. Number 1, let me tell you, there are parts of these private battles that you've got to take personal responsibility for and fight alone. But realize that you are truly never alone. Because what is number 2? Number 2, is to know that God is there. The enemy wants you to believe that God has abandoned you for your decisions. You can even get the message at church that you are a worthless sinner. But let me tell you, you may have sinned, you may have made a mistake, you may have stumbled and fallen, but you are far from worthless. In our most desperate times, God is always there, waiting for us to reach out. Truth is, we are all modern day prodigals. And when we wander away from God, we are always welcomed back by our powerful and loving God, our Father. Number 3, you can surround yourself with men who are on the quest like you. Let me tell you, brother, this being a man thing is hard. It's hard being, you'll hear me say this over and over and over on this podcast. It's hard being a man who is committed to his marriage, committed to his fatherhood, a man who is committed to his career and his finances, a man who is committed to his physical and mental health, all while trying to navigate how to be committed and understand his divine relationship with God. Sit in a circle with spiritual warriors, my brother. I can promise you, the conversation is different in those circles. So right now, let me throw out a special invitation for you. Right now, you can become a founding member of the Quest system for men. At the Quest system, our commitment is to create resources for men where we focus on mental, physical, and spiritual health and wellness. Again, mental, physical, spiritual health and wellness, because they all matter. Most men, they don't need therapy, they don't need motivation, they need a system for living that helps them master their best life by first mastering themselves. If that sounds like something you'd like more information on, I will put a link in the description. So, I've got one disclaimer. It's for men who are willing to do more, to become more, to have more, to serve more. That is the core message that we are, that the Quest system is committed to. Men who are willing to do more, to become more, to have more, to serve more. So, the most damaging part of a man's private failure, let me tell you, it's not the failure itself. It's the story he tells himself about the failure. The story that says he's broken beyond repair. But that story is a lie. The quest begins by asking yourself this question. It's not just a question, but I call it the question. The question that is the foundation for all transformation for men. And here it is. What am I settling for that I am no longer willing to settle for in my personal, professional, and spiritual life? Let me tell you, you will never repair what you are unwilling to look at. Let me say that again. You will never repair what you are unwilling to look at. Transformation starts by finally acknowledging the pain to sit still is greater than the pain to do something about it. Understand, your self-worth is not up to you. God brought you into this world. That grace, that free and unmerited favor of God is the only worth that you require. When you accept this validation of worth from God, the entire game of life changes. Here's a powerful affirmation I'm going to give you in closing today, and repeat this because this will change your life. Self-worth I am. Self-confidence I can. Self-image I become. Let me say that again. Self-worth I am because God created me worthy. Self-confidence I can because I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Self-image I become. I was born in the image and likeness of the power itself. Not just a power, but the power. And I'm going to act like it. So, be sure and subscribe if you haven't, and check out the link in the description, and I'll see you next time on the Man in the Arena podcast. Go be great wherever you are and whatever you do today. Bye for now.